Transmitting live from the Asylum Studios, deep in the bowels of Southwest Texas. It's The Joe Rouge Show. The show where we talk about anything and everything. Where nothing is sacred, nothing is watered down, and nothing is PC.
All righty. Hey, folks, this is Joe Rouge, and it is great to be with you once again, transmitting live tonight from the Asylum Studios, from the pimple on the backside of Texas, the beautiful city of Eagle Pass. And as always, doing the very best that we can to bring you the best quality talk radio we can muster without all the bluster. Hey, folks, welcome to the Joe Rouge Show. It is Wednesday, November the 26th, 2025 at 19:05 hours. And as always, folks, it is a absolute pleasure and a joy for me to be here with you guys tonight. You wonder why I laugh when I say that, right? Well, you'll have to figure it out on your own. But we are excited for tonight. We have Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're excited for that. Well, in some ways, we're excited for that. We're happy it's Thanksgiving. We have a lot to be thankful for, but I will be working my regular job. So I guess I should be thankful for the job, right? Okay, I stand admonished. Very good, very good. All right, I am thankful that I'll be working tomorrow, but I got a nice little thing planned for me and the kids, for Beanie and Chuck. We're going to have a little turkey for them that I'm going to get set up. We're going to have an herbes de Provence and citrus turkey tomorrow for the kiddies. And then, of course, the usual trimmings and fixings and stuff like that. That's really more for me, my fat ass. But, It's all good. It's all good. And we're going to do that. It's going to be the three of us, and we're excited about it. Well, I'm excited about it. I'm sure they are too, because they're going to get a nice dinner out of it. But then again, you guys know this. I feed them very well. Between roasted chickens and pork chops and steaks, they get the works. So, and the reason why I do that is because I am incredibly thankful that I have them. I truly am. And you guys know that. They've been through it. They've been through hell and back with me. And they're my buddies. They're my babies. I love them. So anything that we can do for them is just that much better, makes them that much better. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. In the first hour, we have Dr. Don Weber, who's going to be joining with us momentarily. He's sitting here waiting in the wings. And then in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have Ruben Camarillo from the Now You Know podcast is going to join us for a very quick segment. And then we'll wrap this thing up, and I got to start cooking. So we're going to get things moving here in just a little bit. But, folks, as always, before we get into it, just some of the housekeeping that we normally do, I want to tell you about podhome.fm. Podhome.fm, that is our audio host platform. Been with them now for about 3 years. They're a great platform. Love being part of the group there. And they basically, let me fix this because that's going to drive me nuts. So I've been with them now for about 3 years. They are a great company to be a part of. It is the most modern and easy-to-use podcast hosting platform you are ever going to come across. You can use it to publish your episodes, enhance your audio, automatically generate chapters, titles, transcripts, show notes. Even more than that, you can get chapter art if you're that technically inclined and you want to do that. You want to break down, different images for each chapter of your podcast. You can do that. And you can even podcast live, which is exactly what we're doing. We're podcasting live, not only on the video, but on the audio side as well. So, and they provide that to you. You broadcast across the modern podcast 2.0 apps. Those are fantastic apps, and we'll tell you more about those later on. And you can even copy their HTML code and insert that into your website, so you have this beautiful media player on your website, broadcasting your live audio feed, and also serves as an archive player. So you can access all of your past shows on there as well. And you know something? If you don't even have a website, they'll give you one. Absolutely no additional charge for that. You get everything that you need in one affordable subscription of $15.99 a month. That is a steal. It is an absolute steal. Why? Because you will pay triple, double, triple that amount on other platforms. And I know because I've used other platforms. So you need to check out podhome.fm, $15.99 a month. And if you sign up today, you get 30 days free to play with it. So you can have a grand old time testing out all of the great things that go on with Podhome. So check them out. All right. All righty. Now, folks, we also know that electricity is absolutely essential. And TNE Energy makes it affordable and personal. More than 1 million customers across the U.S. trust TNE Energy to power their homes and to earn free energy for referring their friends and family. So head out to tne.energy and explore all of the options that are available to you for your home today. tne.energy. And, of course, also don't forget, folks, please check out our website. Head over to joeroos.com and go over to our contact section. And when you get there, open up that little web form and send us over a message. Let us know whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, any questions, comments, cares, or concerns that you have. If you have any complaints, just keep those to a minimum. If you could send us any ideas you have for a guest that you'd like to have on the show or a particular topic you'd want to discuss. Got an interesting one the other day, and so we're contemplating how we're going to put that show together. And it's something I've kind of hinted at in the past that somebody was actually paying attention and reminded me that we were talking about doing a show on this one, so I'll leave that for a surprise. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. All right, so you can do that all through the contact form. And, of course, if you don't want to use the web form, I get it. I'm not crazy about web forms either. You get those captchas and all that mess you got to play with. You can email me directly at info@joeroos.com. That's info@joeroos.com. Also, you can drop a comment down below. That's a great way to get in touch with us as well. All right. And also, while you're on the website, please check out the support page. And if you are able to do so, we would appreciate it if you could help us out with a donation. Remember that this show is a value for value show. And all that simply means is that if you receive anything of value from the content that we're producing, we're asking that you return that value in the form of a donation. It could be your time, your talent, your treasure. You can send $1, you can send more. It's up to you. It's whatever you value the content that we're sending out. All right. So value for value, time, your talent, your treasure. And of course, as always, we go over all of those things more toward the end of the show because we don't want to lose people at the beginning of the show. You start talking about donations and money, and people tend to tune you out and shut you off. So we'll get you at the end. All right. I think that's a good deal. All right. Now, tonight, as I said, we're going to be joined by someone who lives and breathes the art of communication and influence. We have Dr. Don Weber, founder of, let me turn that echo thing back on. There we go. We have Dr. Don Weber, who's the founder of Dr. Weber Coaching. Don is a global communication strategist, a human intelligence or human expert. And did I say that right? Human? Okay. And executive coach whose life tells the story of survival, reinvention, and mastery. For over 15 years, he has worked in international intelligence operations across 90-plus countries, operating under multiple identities and navigating environments where one wrong move could have cost him his life. And, I'm not saying that jokingly either. During his years as a U.S. government field operative under the George Bush administration, Don gathered intelligence across South America, Africa, Europe, you name it, working with organized crime figures, foreign agents, and volatile political networks. Don, welcome to the show. It is great to have you here.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, so I always like to kick off the show with a couple of kind of like icebreaker questions or groundwork questions. So who's someone, past or present, that you would love to sit down and have a 2-hour coffee with, and why?
Donald Trump.
Okay.
And the reason, because I find him really fascinating. I mean, I know he's got this persona for the media and all that kind of thing, but actually the person himself, I've actually met a couple of people that have been with him privately for hours. And they tell me he's quite different in real life than he is.
That's what I've heard. I still hear an echo. Do you still hear the echo?
With you, I don't. Do you hear an echo with me?
Yeah, let me take a look at something.
I might be able to. I could adjust the gain on this thing.
No, I don't think that's it. Okay. I think that should do it. Okay. All right. So Donald Trump, I agree with you. I think Donald Trump's a fascinating person. I've never met him. I've seen him up close when I was working in New York City a few times. I saw him around Midtown, but never had an opportunity to actually meet the guy. And honestly, I would love to be able to sit down and have a conversation with him. Just because from what I understand, from what I've been told, people who have met him and do know him, he's a person who genuinely is interested in hearing what somebody has to say, and he takes it to heart. So I had the privilege of hosting Peter Tickton, who is a personal friend to Donald Trump. They went to military school together. He's one of President Trump's attorneys, and what a great guy. Had some great stories to share about the president. It was a lot of fun. So if anybody listening, if you haven't had a chance to check that out, there are 2 episodes with Peter Tickton, so go back and check it out. That's why we have the archives. Okay. All right. All right. So what's your go-to to help you unwind at the end of the day?
Well, in the evenings, generally, unless I'm traveling and I have something weird going on my schedule nowadays, I do meditation practices. I do exercise every day, usually aerobic, martial arts, and weightlifting.
Okay.
Not necessarily those 3 every day, but I do at least one of those every day. Usually two of the 3. And in the evenings before bed, I usually do about a 30-minute meditation practice.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty intense one, actually. And yoga.
That's good. That's good. See, most people that I've asked that question to usually come back with some kind of a beverage.
In the old days, yeah, that's what I would have said. Yeah, back when I was working with the government and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely alcohol.
You might have to turn your gain up just a little bit.
Turn up sure.
Just because you're fading out as you move away.
Does that help? Does that help? Advance right in my face. How about now?
That's good.
Is that okay?
And it's not a strap, so I can see it. We can still see it. You're good. All right. So I was reading over your bio, and you have an incredible story, and from what the bio says, and I would love to know more about just about everything in your bio. But you have worked as in. I know it sounds sometimes when you say things like this, it sounds kind of cheeky. Oh, you were a spy. Okay, well. And you've done that. You've actually lived that life. And that has to be probably one of the most stressful jobs that I could think of, outside of politics, outside of being the president or a a senator, a congressman, whatever it might be, a governor. But I think that doing that type of work has to be incredibly stressful. You're constantly on your guard, and it has to be draining.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny, I didn't never consider myself a spy until many years later, even though I knew what I was doing, obviously, but I never, that word, that terminology, I didn't, it's funny, I didn't really consider myself to be. And some of the people I worked with, from like the guys from Interpol, particularly, they used to always call me James Bond, which was just a joke because anyway, I was pretty successful sometimes at getting information we were after. Yeah, it's high stress stuff. It really is. I mean, usually when you get in that kind of work, they kind of wean you in. They don't just like dump you in the middle of Central Africa and say, we're looking for an arms dealer. Go get them. That kind
Figure
of
it out, right?
you generally, it doesn't work that way. They usually kind of win you in, so you gradually kind of get the hang of things.
Uh,
But yeah,
now you've done this in over 90 countries, and I guess I probably should have led in with the question is to talk a little bit more about what you do now, because the question that I had for you is, what did the years that you spent in human intelligence teach you about human behavior and trust?
a lot. Yeah, I would say, as a youngster, I wasn't maybe the most confident person in the world, and I was pretty smart, but not very confident. And as a result, I developed certain skills for like manipulating people. It's actually very
Okay.
good at it. I didn't hurt people, like individuals and stuff like that, but I was good at manipulating situations. And that's actually why I ended up landing the job, because they look for a certain profile of a person that can actually do what needs to get done. So I went from that. Okay, I got involved with the government work, which I got better at as time goes on. And there's a lot of other elements I can share with you as well that are just beyond bizarre, that are without explanation. Now, a lot of very interesting characters I worked with during that period of time. And then around 2010, about the second year that Obama was president, I got out of it because things changed tremendously. The Obama administration, they really weren't taking care of their people, at least our people. They weren't watching our backs and all that kind of thing. So many of us actually came to the same conclusion. So we got out of there because they said it was. I saw more than one person get killed, very close, kind of stuff. So if you're living that kind of thing, you want to make sure somebody's got your back. You might get killed anyway, but you want to. It just makes you feel better knowing that I've got people behind me, kind of thing, and not like, hey, you're on your own. You're in the middle of the jungle in Venezuela or something, and yeah, if it goes wrong, well, don't worry about it. It's gonna rip you apart, in pieces or something.
Again, though, to me, just the idea of, like, I know we can't really talk about some of the things and operations you were involved with and whatnot, but just the stress level that you have to be under in order to well, you're guarding out for your personal life. You want to, you're trying to keep a cover. You're trying to gather information and report the information back. And at the same time, you have to worry about the people closest to you as well, your family, your friend, people that, you deal with on a personal level. How do you handle that? I mean, how do you work your way through that type of a stressful occupation?
Well, I probably should explain the background a little bit. Before I started, a friend of mine from Israel that worked already in those kind of services, he told me, don't do it. It's a gray life. You're not going to like it. You're going to be very unhappy. And I went for it anyway. Basically, I didn't really have that much of a personal life at that point. I pretty much had to cut off everybody, including family, for their own protection, right?
I would imagine, yeah.
Because I was dealing with some really, really nasty people. I mean, really nasty people. So cut that off. I was living under assumed name for the better part of 30 years. And then on top of that assumed name, I had other names.
Oh, wow.
So let's say your real name is Joe Rose, but maybe we say that your name is Jonathan Decker, right? And you're going to be Jonathan Decker for the next 25 years, living in a foreign country or living abroad, right? And that's who you are. And you got school, and it's got a good, what they call legend, a good history, all that kind of stuff to back it up. And now we're going to go to you, John Decker, and we're going to say, or Jonathan Decker, we're going to say, well, we've got a little project for you in North Africa. And you're going to be Jean-Francois, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Boom, here's a passport. Learn all the material. You need to go to this country, North Africa. You're going to meet so-and-so, and you're going to do whatever, or the objective is to do whatever, right? So you're going to be Jean-Francois maybe 2-3 years, maybe 5 years. At the same time, you're Jonathan Decker. You get me? So when you're North Africa, you're Jean-Francois, and when you're back home, you're Jonathan Decker, and Joe Ruse doesn't really even exist. I mean, it exists on paper,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and but it's a way that you can really assimilate the living a lie or living to tell the best lies. You need to believe them.
Okay.
You need to assimilate them, and it takes some mental gymnastics to be able to get there. It's not something you do in like 1 week and you say, okay, yeah, now I'm Jean-Francois, and all that kind of thing. It's not that simple. But that gives you layers of protection. So it protects your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you a level of protection of maybe what country you're actually from. Obviously, there's some things you learn about maybe these are languages and accents and all that kind of thing, and background and knowledge that you can come across as you're from a different part of the world.
Okay.
Pretty useful. Which brings down suspicion.
Mm-hmm. Now, transitioning from that type of a lifestyle to get into when you came out of that service, did you have a hard time with transitioning into, I guess we would call it civilian life in my previous? So what was that like? How hard was that for you to adjust and to get into something like you're doing now, with coaching and the speaking engagements that you have and the leadership programs that you offer?
It was kind of like living in Disneyland or like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get out of it, you really start realizing. I mean, you realize it at the time, but you really start realizing, wow, that was really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know what I'm saying? I was involved in that kind of thing, right? So there's a huge emotional and psychological transition. I became acutely interested in God and I'm not going to say religion per se, like organized religion, but in God, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So I started studying deeply biblical texts, and then I decided, you know what? Actually, if I'm going to read the Bible, I'll read it in Hebrew or Aramaic in the original languages. So that was a big learning curve for me, but still a labor of love. I'm still working at, but huge interest. I can't understate that. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, I was born again or I had a spiritual awakening. It wasn't that. It was just something in me that just wanted to change. It's all those years I'd really lived for myself, for my ego. I spent my life, Joe, lying. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I would sleep with women that would fall in love with me, and I was just there because I wanted their phone records or I wanted whatever. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you feel bad. I'd feel bad about it, but it was the job, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, the ends of the means. I mean, people would say, okay, people that are trained in the U.S. and intelligence services or whatever, or government agencies or whatever, we're not supposed to sleep with people and all that kind of stuff. Well, the reality is not that way. It's not that way. You do what you got to do to get the outcome. Right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because you have to build that relationship, and eventually, at some point in building the relationship, it's going to progress to that point. And if you didn't act on it, I'm sure it would become very suspicious at a certain point. What's going on here?
Right. And people, what they don't understand is, okay, maybe you have, let's say, intelligence officers, which this is no secret, work in the embassies, right? They have a different standard of how they can operate, what they can do and can't do.
Right.
But the people in the field, and then you have different classifications. You have people like me that are expendable. So I could get away with basically bloody murder and do whatever needed to done in order to get what needed to get done, right? We had other people that had to behave by higher standards, but their hands were tied.
I got you.
So and most of the public doesn't understand how that.
And when you say being expendable, I'm sure that has other meanings as well. I mean, that because at that particular level, as being someone who's considered expendable, if something did go down negatively and you were taken out for it, whether it was through legal means or illegal means, it would be just
He's not on one of ours. He's not even an American, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Not even Americans.
That
I don't know.
I don't know if I'd be able to do that. You have to, I guess, like you're a prime example, I guess. I mean, you'd have to have a certain mindset and a certain way of being able to process that. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. Yeah, I really don't.
That's why they hire people with certain psychological tendencies or whatever. You have to have a little bit. I always use the word psychopathy. It freaks people out when I say it, but you have to have a certain amount of a little bit of a personality disorder. You got to be a little nuts, straight up.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, because if not, I mean, if you have really like strict moral, ethical codes, you're not going to get much done. I mean, you have to have some basic stuff, right? And you have to have like clarify, okay, these people I tell the truth to and I don't lie to, who are my minders or my keepers, right? The government.
Right.
And these other people, I can do whatever I need to do to get get it done. And then maybe I got people in the middle or foreign government intelligence agencies that we're collaborating with, but my loyalty there is not 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Although you develop relationships with people, and that's really freaky. So you become really close to somebody, and maybe something bad is going to happen to them. You can't say anything. You can't do anything about it, and that sucks. That's a hard pill to swallow sometimes.
Oh, I don't know how. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I really don't. And I got to give you credit for devoting so much of your life to it, and I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but to say thank you for your service. It's I don't know. I really don't know. But how did your experiences in working in that line of work bring you to what you're doing now?
Okay, so I said I moved out of that, right? About 2010, I got out of it. And I had a series of incredible challenges, surprising challenges that I went through. But I don't know. It wasn't because of challenges. I just had this really strong interest in understanding the creator better or whatever, as much as possible as a human being. Also, I had a couple illnesses. I almost died because I got attacked. I had my skull cracked, and it was part of work. And then another one I got a couple times anyway. Both times the doctors told me, what, you're real lucky to be alive. And the other one was like, I'm not sure you're going to make it, man.
Oh, geez.
So I think those kind of things kind of wake you up. You have usually people don't change unless they have like some major, something happens in their life. You hear people, let's say, we'll use the story like of the alcoholic, right? Yeah, I want to stop drinking because they know they need to stop drinking. They know it's bad for their liver. It's bad for their health and all that, but they're not going to do a damn thing until something really major happens in their life that maybe wakes them up to make that change.
Right.
And I think that's true for anything in our lives that people are more involved in stuff that maybe it's not so good for us. So anyway, there was this strong spiritual component to it, and I can't underestimate that. And then the training thing, I was in India in 2014 looking to find myself, but then I found out I was there all along. That was a joke.
I got you.
Anyway, and I was taking some courses up at teaching as well, IIT, which is like the Indian Institute of Technology. It's very high. It's their most prestigious university. I was at Delhi and Mumbai, and it was outside of my government work after. And they offered me a teaching gig, and I did some teaching for them, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't stay because the compensation in India, of course, it wouldn't compensate the standard of life I would be accustomed to. Not even close, actually.
I see. Okay.
That didn't work. But I came back to Europe, and there was a immediate need with somebody to teach public speaking at the Ministry of Agriculture. And I felt that need. There was a slot that was needed. I guess they liked the work. There was somebody there from IBM, and then I got hired as a corporate trainer for them. How would I say this? Part-time, like a freelancer part-time. So I worked for them for about 6-7 years.
Okay.
Several months out of every year. And they kept me quite busy. And because of that, then other major Fortune 500 companies started picking me out for doing training. So I'd be maybe here for 3 months and there for 2 months. And in the course of that, I worked with thousands from very senior CEO level to middle managers. And a lot of these people I got to know. I spent a lot of time one-to-one with them. So I learned a lot about about people and problems that normal people have. When I was in the old world, I say, or in the intelligence world, I understood people. I understood what I want to know. What's your motivation? What's the motivation of this person? What's this person after? What's the end goal? I'll give you a quick one that surprised most people. I could generally trust a mafioso, right?
Okay.
Or you say a terrorist even, more than sometimes other intelligence officers or police. Why? Because the mafioso, the terrorist, I could identify generally what their real motive was.
Okay.
So I knew where they were coming from. The intelligence officers, or sometimes the foreign police officers, I didn't actually know what the real motive was. Did they want the bust? You know what I'm saying? Did they want the collar? They want that?
Mhm.
or that they have some other little game that they're playing behind. So it's much more complex with those people, much more complex. So
Okay.
the big thing back then was figuring out people's motives, and body language stuff was basically you can identify people. You can identify people are feeling comfortable or uncomfortable. That's basically, it's that simple. It's not so simple. Say, oh, I can tell this guy's lying because he touched his nose, or I don't know, he scratched his ear, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's bogus. And there are people out there that train body language that were interrogators for the U.S. government, and they're very good at what they do. Some of them, yeah. And then what they do is they spend all their time interrogating people in a controlled environment, though,
Right.
interrogation room. In the Wild Wild West, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I remember when I went through my training, when I went to work for investigations, we had to go through the interrogation and interviewing technique programs and trainings. I mean, they made it seem so simple. In a classroom, it's simple. When you're actually out there in the field doing the job and actually sitting there with somebody, say, even if you're in an interviewing room, and you're sitting there with the person you're interviewing and maybe their representative, it's not the same, not quite the same thing, as what you're getting in the classroom. Those little tricks and stuff don't always work. And some people don't, like you said, touching the nose or playing with the ear or fidgeting, it doesn't always necessarily mean what they tell you in the classroom either. Some people have nervous tics just naturally. Like I have one, it drives me crazy and I try to control it. For some reason, I chew the inside of my mouth. It's just, I've always done that,
Right.
But yet in an interviewing and interrogation program, they'll say, well, he's hiding something from you.
Very well could be, because they're not baselining the person, and it's harder to baseline somebody in even a job interview, right? If you've got somebody in the interrogation room, their defense is up. They're not probably feeling more warm and fuzzy and happy to be there.
Right. Yeah.
So you're dealing with a very artificial situation. Companies that will do interviews and they use body language experts to do analysis. What you would do is you'd bump in. I might be sitting in the waiting room for the interview next to them, have a chat with them, get to know them, get them relaxed, but enough time so I have a feeling what this person's like. Then they go into the room for the interview, and then on camera, it's easier to now identify the differences because I've had a time to speak to them in their natural state. In the interrogation room, it's not that way.
Yeah,
and in the field, usually you get to spend more time with people, so you get a better feeling for what they're all about and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if they drink alcohol, that's a very useful tool because people tend to slip and say things that. And you have to you be very observant, listen very carefully to what people are saying, how they say it, what words they emphasize, when they pause. All those little things can give you clues into what their mindset is. But again, you're identifying comfort and discomfort.
Now, how much communication would you say is nonverbal? And what are some of the common mistakes that leaders make in trying to understand nonverbal communication?
Well, they probably have prejudices or stereotypes, and they just think this means that.
Okay.
It doesn't, right? So the traditional one, arms crossed, right? Well, it could be. It depends on the temperature in the room. Also, women, they tend to like to cross their arms more for obvious reasons because of physiology, right?
Right.
So that doesn't necessarily mean, well, if a female's doing that, yes, maybe she's a little bit defensive, but it doesn't mean I'm hiding something necessarily. So I think leaders, a lot of times, they don't pay that much attention to, I'm going to say male leaders, don't pay that much attention to body language. What I run into, and this is a trip, a lot of your high people, really important people, their egos are so out of balance with reality. They're to some degree, they're out of touch. So they're very charismatic. They come across really nice, but they already have preconceived ideas about stuff, and they're not maybe seeing really what the real situation is. And I can tell you from firsthand experience as a coach or trainer, I've seen that numerous times, both in the political and private sector.
Now, as a coach or a trainer, and for doing the public speaking and such, and your experiences, what separates speakers who talk from speakers who can connect?
If I'm connecting, I'm talking to you. If I'm talking, I've got this thing memorized, and I'm just up there just to vomit out the information I know, right?
Okay.
If I'm trying to connect with my audience, That's the key thing, and it's actually from the heart. You need to be selling a product or selling a service or communicating an idea I believe in. That's fundamental, right? So I
Mhm.
should really believe in what I'm trying to transmit, and that's why a lot of politicians get into trouble because a lot of times they're saying stuff they don't believe, and it comes across as fake and phony. Unless some politicians have to do the same trick where they convince themselves that what they're saying is true.
Mhm.
Like,
I think a good example of that is one of our former presidents, uh, who talked a great game. You know, spoke a
Obama?
lot. It could be, yeah, just might, yeah, yeah. Obama, he,
Not gonna
he spoke a great, he had a great way of expressing himself. He was great at public speaking. He was
big.
able to rile up a crowd, but but none of that stuff, none of that rhetoric was really from the heart. Yeah, and sometimes you could tell, sometimes you could see it. Uh, Things that I picked up on was when he was lying, which was most of the time, he would stutter and stammer more than when he was speaking truly from the heart. It's like he was trying to find the words to speak or say, or maybe it wasn't on the teleprompter, and he was trying to ad lib it. Um, and then you have someone like President Trump, who I honestly believe that everything that comes out of this man's mouth, if it's not on the teleprompter, that's his real heart. That's his true heart. I just get that sense from him. But it's interesting when you look at the two styles of speaking between those two men. I don't include Joe Biden because I don't think Joe Biden knew what he was saying in the first place. But but you contrast those two, and you could see the difference in the rhetoric. And I don't use the word negatively. I'm just what they're saying. You could tell that who is really like when President Trump says that he is looking out for the American people. He's looking out for America first. I believe him. I believe that that he truly deep down inside wants to see America back in the leadership role that it had held on to since World War II, and I believe that that's his intended goal. Uh, and I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. So I trust him more. Like I'll listen more to what he has to say and put my trust in that. Now, uh, are there things going on right now within the administration that did not necessarily seem like America first? Yeah, there are. I'm not. I love President Trump. I do. I think he's done a great job. I'm not thrilled with everything. I mean, and I'm not a sycophant. That's why, so I can pull it out and say, nah, there's something wrong there.
Exactly.
But but on the whole, I trust him. Because I honestly believe that when he's talking about American exceptionalism and American excellence, that he means it. That's what he wants. And that's what he wants to see.
That's what I see. I see the same. I mean, if you look at Keir Starmer, who's the Prime Minister of the UK, for people who don't know, Keir Starmer is they call him a stammer because but he lies all the time. I mean, he's a compulsive liar. It's amazing, huh? And it's
Yeah.
not because I don't agree with his politics, but the fact is, with Trump, you at least with Trump, you can say his actions match his words.
Yes.
Whether you like his actions or not, okay, fine.
Another
But
issue.
he does what he says he's going to do. He doesn't do Obama, and I've been around many politicians in Europe. Some of them have this great ability that they can deliver a speech or talk to a group of people, and they can say two things at once.
Mhm.
This is a talent, huh? So they're delivering two messages with one conversation to a group of people.
Yeah.
Obama had that ability.
Yes.
I've dissected. I've got some videos where I've dissected the hell out of, and I'm going to plan. Actually, I've actually made video. I haven't edited them, but I want to publish them. And it's tricky stuff. And I've seen other politicians sitting right next to them doing this in Europe, members of the European Parliament. It's amazing. The ability to do that's something as a skill I don't have personally, and I do public speaking, but be able to say something that has a double meaning.
And I think what we're really talking about here is another question that I had for you about, like what separates somebody who's just simply speaking and someone who connects and persuades.
Again, it's from the heart. So if I'm talking to a group of people, I'm looking for people in the audience I'm connecting with. And if I notice, let's say it's a big audience, maybe, let's say a couple hundred people, it's not that big. And I'm looking at these people, I'm looking to see if I'm connecting. And if I'm not connecting, I need to change my tactic. Maybe I need to speak more slowly, more quickly. Maybe I need to put more emphasis. Maybe I need to change the topic, adjust it somehow, right?
Yeah, you have to be fluid.
Yeah, yeah. You need to really know what you're talking about so you can do that. But I mean, it is true that there are audiences that are very difficult to connect with, but that's very rare. That's very rare. That's just usually a cop out. It does exist, maybe 1 in 1,000. But
Right.
generally speaking, you have other people's interests at heart. People can feel if you actually like them or you care about them or you have their best interest at heart. They can feel that. And they can also feel if you could care less and you're just there because you want to sell them whatever, convince them of whatever, because you're out there to benefit yourself.
Right.
And then you have stupid people that'll believe whatever,
Right. No, I know that, like, from my experiences in public speaking, like we talked before the show, I told you I used to preach. I served an associate pastor in a church up in New York, and I would regularly get up at the pulpit and I would talk to folks, and and I tried to connect as much as I possibly could with the people that were there. Now, I've spoken to small groups like 25, 30 people. I've also spoken to 400 and up, at other services and such that I took part in. And one of the things that I've always liked to do, and I saw something in your bio that you mentioned as well, is using someone's name. So what I would do is if there was somebody in the audience that I knew personally, that I knew well, I would call on them, or I would kind of poke some fun at them, and they knew that it was just part of the, is just kind of to break down the barrier, like I would say, there was one time I was preaching and I was like, and I said something, and it was like, I was talking about the rapture, and I was saying that if the Lord decided to rapture us out of here right now, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even have to finish the sermon, and somebody said amen. And I jumped on that, and it was my friend George who was in the audience, and I said, you see, look, even George likes to, and that made everybody laugh, and and it kind of brought the tension down that was already there because I was a guest speaker, really, and so a lot of the folks that were there didn't really know who I was. I think we lost you. Froze. Donna, you still with us? I think we lost Don for a second, so let's give him a chance to pop on back here. All right, he just messaged.
There we go. I don't know what happened. I have no idea.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
Maybe I thought it was the rap.
Yeah. I teach people when like public speaking, if you get to the room early and talk to members who are going to be in the audience, try to develop some rapport with them, like especially if it's a cold audience you don't know. So when you're standing up speaking, at least you've spoken to them, and then the audience will feel more connected if you're looking at these people in the eyes, right? But a lot of people are afraid of public speaking, so they don't want to look the audience in the eyes. But if I've spoken to a half a dozen people privately, and I had a good experience with them, then it's very easy to look them in the eyes, right? And it kind of makes you feel more confident in what you're doing.
Of course,
I can tell you funny stories about that not working out, but anyway.
I think we all could. One of the tricks that I would do if I didn't have an opportunity to really meet people prior to getting up and speaking, I would make it a point, though. I would scan the room and I would look for a friendly face. Maybe somebody who's listening and they're smiling at something that I said, or they look really interested in it, and I would kind of, in a way, talk to them, and still scan the room, but I would talk to them, to that particular person. And I'd never look them in the eyes, though. I found a spot on the forehead that I would look at, and it made it look like I was looking you in the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of the distance, I was from them individually. So it looks like I'm looking at you directly, but I'm really not. I'm looking over you. I'm looking at your forehead or something. Until one person that I knew that was there pointed it out to me. I did it not at that event, but another event where I had some people there that I knew. And he was like, you keep on looking at my bald spot. and he shouted it. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to a Baptist church. I mean, but that's common in a Baptist church. They tend to do those things. But But if I turned around and said, well, if the light wasn't glaring so much off of it, I wouldn't have to look at it. you know, kind of turned into a joke, and it worked. It broke it melted the ice, so to speak, and it was interesting. But it's so true, though. It's you get to know your audience, you get to talk to them a little bit, beforehand. It does help. It truly does. And that's something that I don't really see a lot of people do at these functions and events. Like, I've been to a few things where there are people that, what do they call those things? Like conventions, right? Where you have a guest speaker coming up there, and they just come up on the stage. They don't know who anybody is, and man, they go at it. They just get right into it, and it seems so robotic and so no connection to it. They get up, they speak for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it might be, and then they're off, and and they're gone. But that personal connection that you make with somebody, I think that's key. There are things that you've talked about and I've read about you that I like to try to do with my audience, that I try to catch. I see myself doing from time to time, and I'm not perfect at it, but I try to. I want my audience to feel like, hey, we're buddies here. We're doing this together. We're going through this. That's why. And when I tell them at the beginning of the show or the end of the show, I look forward to spending my night, hanging out with whoever it is that's watching. Like, I don't have a huge audience. I have like 10 people watching right now on Rumble, but I don't have like live numbers aren't huge, but I'm still connecting with people, and because the downloads later show it, and the little comments and feedback that I get shows it, and it's important. I want people to feel like this is their show just as much as it is mine. I want them to be involved in it, and sometimes I hope that it comes across sincere, because it really is. I do want everybody to feel like, hey, we're just a bunch of people just hanging out, just shooting the breeze, talking about whatever it is that we're talking about, and enjoy the time here, and get more involved in the show and stuff. And I try to bring that out, and I'm hoping I do. Now, you've seen a couple of shows that we've done. What's your assessment? Do you think it's legit? Do you think?
I think it's completely legit. I wouldn't be on here if I didn't.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
No, and you're a very good conversationalist. You have a pleasant voice. You have good resonance when you speak. You're interesting. You're engaging, which is actually not that common. To be honest.
Sociopathic.
I thought, in fact, yeah, I really did straight up. I really did enjoy. In fact, this is going to sound a little bit weird. I was surprised you didn't have like more followers and more things for the quality of product that you produce.
Well, that's on me, because working the 40-hour a week and then trying to do the show as often as I do, I don't have a lot of time to play on the social media stuff and to interact that way. So that's where I'm lacking. And I was talking to Angela, who's one of my producers, and we talked about that today. And that's something we're going to target for next year, for 26. Get more involved in the social media, try to get more involvement here, and grow the audience, and publish ourselves and put ourselves out there a little bit more. I've been doing. Sorry.
I'm sorry. You're very good. You really are. Legitimately. Question: do you have experience doing radio or?
I started doing this back in 2016, before it was called podcasting. It was internet radio. Okay. I had a once a week show, a live show with two of my buddies up in New York, and it was mostly political opinion and talk, but it wasn't serious. Like we talked serious stuff, but we spent more time joking around and poking fun at it. Okay. And it was a good balance. We had I was the more conservative voice on the show, and then you had my friend Jay, who was the big time liberal on the show, and then we had the studio owner that we used. We use actually a professional studio. His deal was, let me come on the show. You can use the studio for free. So he was there, and he was our libertarian voice. So you had the three spectrums right there, and we would get into it. We would argue and bicker and complain and yell at each other. But at the end of the day, we were buddies. After the show was over, we got a beer, had some pizza, and it was good. But one of the best compliments that we ever got was somebody actually put in because we were on 3 different internet radio networks, I guess you would call it. And so we were broadcasting across all these different streams at the same time, and we had access to like live chats and things like that. And one of the best compliments we ever got, and I'll never forget it, was that they loved listening to the show because they felt like they were hanging out in the backyard with a bunch of the guys drinking a beer, just bullshitting.
That's awesome.
You know, that's exactly what we wanted, and that's that's what I'm trying to do.
It's a great formula. I mean, if you look at like Joe Rogan, let's say, right? One of the biggest, right? It's very casual when they're speaking. There's no like pretentious, like weird vibes and stuff like that. It's
right, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. And so we'll get there. So I started in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. We did it for about a year, and then I moved here to Texas. And at the time, technology wasn't like this at that time, so it was hard to do a remote show. So we kind of let it go, and then I kind of put it aside for a little while, and I came back to it about 4 years ago. I did another show, which was just strictly Bible study. That's all it was. I threw my little political opinions here or there because, honestly, not to sound preachy or anything like that, but if you're really going to understand what's going on in the world today, you got to read your Bible, because your Bible talking about all this stuff.
100%.
The Bible is the greatest political history and science book you'll ever get. It covers all things, because the main theme of the Bible is, salvation's in there, and it's important. I'm glad it's in there, but the main theme of the Bible is government. Who's going to run who?
Right.
And you gotta follow that. So if you want to really understand what's going on in the world, read your Bible. So I did this Bible study show for about 3 years. Had a pretty decent run with it. But I came down with what I call preacher's block. So I got to a point where, like, I have the writer's block, I had preacher's block. I was in the middle of doing a study, and I just hit a block, hit a wall. I was like, I don't know where to go with this at this point. So I said, I'm going to step back a little bit. I'm going to take a break. And while I was taking the break, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to do something outside of the Bible study. So maybe I'll do this. I'll just do this like whenever I feel like it, pre-recorded podcast, whenever I have time. And that didn't last very long, because I love to do this. I love this interaction. I have met so many incredible people doing this format of a podcast, people that I never would probably have met in my entire life, like yourself. I've hosted Nobel Peace Prize nominees. I've hosted politicians. I've hosted authors. I've hosted a wide paranormal investigators. I've hosted so many different types of people on this show. People, again, that I never probably would have met any other way. And every show that I walk away from, I've learned something. And to me, that's amazing. I love to do this. If I had the money and I was able to do this every single day, just this alone, and devote the time to the preparation, the promotion, and building this thing, man, I would do that in a heartbeat, like that, because I love to do it. To me, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it has its stresses. Yes, it has its aggravations and, cancellations and tech problems and glitches and goofs and whatnot. Right. But to me, this is an incredibly amazing experience that I would never want to give up and walk away from completely and say, I'm done with this. No, I can't. I love this. This is a lot of fun.
It's way cool, man. Way cool. They have a hobby. At this point, I guess it's a hobby because you have a job, but if you can turn your hobby into a profession, that would be amazing.
That's my goal. I invested a lot of my own money into. I bought a house. After my divorce, I bought a house, and I took this one room in the house and I made a studio out of it. I have everything in here is mine. The only thing I did not buy in here is the chair that I'm sitting on. that was actually a gift from a listener. Because it was funny. I was doing the show, and the chair broke while I was doing the show, and it like shifted, and I was like, oh, I guess I got to get a new chair. And then I got an email through the website. Somebody asked me how they can help out with that, and okay, here. And Sure enough, I got a, a chair showed up. So I was like, all right, outstanding. So
The reason I'm laughing so much, I was doing a Zoom call once with the Ministry of Defense in Spain. So I had like 8 or 12 people on the, no, it was like 12 people on the thing. And I was sitting on this wooden chair. I was traveling, and it was like a wood pine cheap chair. So I'm sitting there doing my thing, and the chair broke. And literally, they're watching me, and all of a sudden, they watch me fall, just like.
so you know what I'm
their
talking
face, and I had the thing recorded so I could see their faces. You know. So anyway, yeah, I can appreciate that about chair breaking.
Yeah, no, they,
Really cool.
and that's I always say that's the things about doing a live, and that's another reason why I like to do the live shows. I don't like doing pre-recorded stuff. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Because if people listening don't know, because I've said it before, but when I do a pre-recorded show, I get lazy. That's how I know myself. I get lazy. I won't. I'll do it later. I'll you know, or I'm picky, so I'll stop and start, back and forth, back and forth. It takes so much time, and then when you do it live, man, if I mess up, I got to fix it right there. I got to keep moving, and I feel like it makes me a better broadcaster. So, or podcaster, however you want to say it. Even though we have low numbers that watch the show live, there's a different energy when you're doing a live show. Completely different energy, and it's a lot of fun. Because again, you never know what's going to come up. You never know what's going to happen, and you got to learn how to flow with it and make it work. And that's why I like doing it. Yeah, I love it.
If I can ask you this, what's the craziest thing that's happened to you? Because I know you've done a lot of shows.
Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that has happened to you on a live show?
The day that I interviewed a blue cat.
A blue cat?
Yeah, a great guy. I love him. And as a matter of fact, he's going to be on the show again in a couple of weeks. So I started using this service called Podmatch, which is like Tinder for podcasters. So you set up a profile, and and it matches you with guests.
You swipe.
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's match or pass. So you get like a bunch of matches to your profile, and you go over their profile. You say, okay, well, is this for me? Is this not for me? Pass, or maybe later, or something like that. And so this guy came up, and it had a very interesting profile. I saw the blue cat on the profile, because that's his alter ego on the show that he's been doing for many, many, many years. Right. But I wasn't expecting him to come on the show as a guest as the blue cat. So I'm getting no. It was a cartoon character. It was like a computer graphic, image. So when the show started, I was going through the whole thing, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, so it's gonna be interesting, because on the guy's profile, there's like no pictures of him whatsoever. Everything is all just the cat. So I'm curious what the guy looks like, to see if the face matches the voice, because I listened to a couple of the shows that he did, and a friend of mine said after the show, he texted me, he goes, I wish you could have seen the look on your face when the camera turned on and it was a blue cat. He goes, you look like you didn't know what the hell to do at that point. And he was right. It threw me off. It caught me off guard totally. And it was crazy. But that's probably one of the more funnier things that have taken place. I mean, I've had people that had meltdowns on the show, like got really like hostile. And it's like I don't try to provoke people to get like that. I don't. I like to have conversation. But I've had a wide range of stuff. Again, like I said, I've interviewed authors, and probably one of the more fun ones we had was with paranormal investigators. They were podcasters also. They have a great podcast called Creepy Coffees. We had a blast, man, and just told some great stories back and forth, and a lot of fun. I like that stuff. It's interesting. I had people on the show that we talked about 0 point energy. Fascinating to me. I mean, I don't know much about it. I learned a hell of a lot on the course of the show. So we cover a lot of ground. We do a lot of great things. I love the conversations. I do. And again, like I said, I never would have met a lot of these people without doing this type of a format, the long form interview format. It's just something that, I just love it. I can't help it, and I'm being serious. I'm not trying to like just stoke for viewers or anything like that. I truly do.
When you said you had somebody have a meltdown, was it did you guys get into politics?
No, no, it
Oh,
was it had to do with, it had to do with, well, it had to do, I guess you could say it had to do with religious background and positions. And, I'm a Baptist preacher, and I will, every now and then throw it out there and, ask the questions,
right.
But with this particular guest, I didn't do that because I knew where they stood on their beliefs, and but they just for whatever reason just went after me, and somebody actually emailed me, and it was Angela, actually my producer. She emailed and said she couldn't believe the just the hostility that came out, and she said that she was really impressed with the amount of grace that I showed in not losing my cool over it. But it was one of those. It was just it was one of those things, and I'm sorry that it happened the way it did, and it didn't need to, but it did, and
It could have been a dynamic kind of energy type thing. You know what I'm saying as well.
yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with that. I don't know. I don't want to talk bad about them either because because they're good people, and we had a great relationship up to that point. We would speak regularly, and it wasn't the first time they came on the show. They've been on the show many times, so it just like out of nowhere like, caught us off guard. But those things happen. Those things happen, and you just got to learn how to roll with it. And that's again the joys of doing a live show is how do you deal with that? If you were recording it, you would hit the stop button and say, "Hold on a second."
You're right.
And
Should we
back
talk
it up.
about this? Right.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. But no, this was just like that.
Spontaneous. They freaked
Yeah,
out.
it just happened. But that's again when you do. How did we get on this subject?
I have no idea. I mean, we were talking about difficult. I could tie it back into coaching, like difficult conversations.
It's
with
about you.
people. I mean, I would train somebody and say, okay, right, you got somebody who's freaking out or melting down, right? Well, just go pretty much just what I call strategic empathy, where you just let them talk, you listen to them. You don't strategic empathy is not that you agree, but you're just letting them know I understand what you're saying. I'm listening to you until they get worked through whatever they're working through. And then you figure out the best way to deal with it. And then there's different strategies to
Right. Well, what I'll do is actually
maybe not.
I'll find the link to that show and I'll send it to you so you can take a look at it so you see what I'm talking about.
Okay,
So,
yeah, that would be great. That'd be
but
really
it
interesting.
was fascinating conversation. It's all of a sudden just like that, just flipped. And I'll tell you more about it later because there's backstory to it too as well. But that's not something for the audience to have to go through.
Yeah, I'm curious
and
to know more about
Yeah,
that.
I'll definitely let you know. But you know what? We didn't get to half of the stuff I had for you. My next guest is waiting in the wings here. I do want to get to one thing though. The last question that I mentioned to you earlier that I wanted to ask you about was mindfulness and self-awareness. So what role does mindfulness and self-awareness play in communication, especially when you're talking about leaders, people in high pressure situations? How does mindfulness and self-awareness play in their communications?
It's everything. It really is. And I'm talking about in the working for an organization, a company, whether private or public. No, I'm not talking about what I used to do, right?
Yeah.
It's everything. Because if you're not self-aware, man, how can you even have an emotional intelligence? If I don't have the empathy to be able to put myself where this person's coming from or why they're feeling that way and be able to identify that. I mean, I need to first have a strong understanding of myself and my own faults, my own prejudices or stereotypes, and what are my values and beliefs and stuff. So it's like, okay, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Okay, great. Now I got to put myself, my ego aside so I can deal with this situation with this person. It's critical. And then we talk about mindfulness, awareness, that's just being in the moment. And in my case, it's really having a relationship with God. If I was a Buddhist, it probably would be, doing hours and hours of meditation and fasting and stuff like that. I would think. But it's a matter of just being in the moment and not letting yourself get taken away. A lot of times it's like a wave in the ocean. You get swept up in it, and not
Right.
letting that happen. Just letting, saying, okay, as soon as you realize that you're getting like overtaken by whatever's happening around you and saying, hey, separate, detach, because what's happening around me is not actually part of me. It's not really, it's
I
not
got you.
part of me, and if people, people nowadays, I think, well, they always have, but we identify so much with our body and on the way we look and the way people perceive us, and I got to be liked, and we've got this double world that we have the world, who I am and the way I want people to see me, and that creates tremendous stress. And when there's a bigger separation between how I want people to see me and who I really am, that creates a lot of stress. So when those two things are closer, you're dealing with a person who's actually psychologically much more healthy. One,
Gotcha.
two, being able to slow yourself down to be in the moment. So if some bad thing is happening, somebody's freaking out, they're having a meltdown, whatever, being able to detach from the situation so you can best try to help them or deal with it. I mean, there are certain criteria, right? I have the old thing is like, who's a bigger fool, the fool or the person that argues with the fool?
Right.
Well, if I'm talking to a fool, I'm not going to argue with them. There's no point. But if that's not the case, then maybe I want to try to help the person in some way or try to understand where they're coming from, why they're saying that, why they're behaving this way, whatever. And as a leader, that's critical, especially in an organization, if they have talent, and that's when your top engineers or one of your top employees. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense to me. So what I'd like to do is though, I want you to come back on the show, probably after the new year, when you have some time, and cover some more ground. There's a lot that I really wanted to get into with you, and let's see. So I know you do some training, right? You have classes that you teach, and most of them are free, correct?
Yeah, some
Some of them.
not. Yeah, I do a lot of free work too. Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I do.
And who is someone that you respect right now? What are they doing that inspires you?
Someone that I respect,
Yes.
or somebody that inspires me.
Well, no, somebody that you respect, and what are they doing that inspires you?
Okay, somebody that I respect, and what are they doing that inspires me? There's a number of people. I'm thinking more political people, but I'm trying to think of somebody who's not political at this point. A lot of I'm going to say within the Christian and even the Jewish community, because a lot of, they're really going for the Saturday people. I mean, what's happening there is just disgusting. And also as far as the Christian community as well is attacking.
Yeah, I agree.
So people who are able to stick to their values, not being dogmatic and stuff like that, but stick to what the Bible says, let's not like people trying to rewrite it. I mean, that drives me crazy. It's like the Bible says certain things, not everything, but certain things are pretty black and white. It's written real clear. It's not like, I don't know.
I agree.
I don't get, it's like either I'm a man or a woman. I don't get to be both. I'm sorry. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Politically completely incorrect what I said. I realize that, but hey.
That's okay. That's the whole point of the show is politically incorrect. So
yeah. And if somebody chooses what I call an alternate lifestyle, okay, good for them, whatever. But you don't get to, say, well, that's okay with God, because it doesn't really say that in the book.
No, it doesn't. It's pretty clear. It is pretty clear.
So it's pretty clear. So I mean, it's not for me to judge them, and maybe they can have a relationship with God and stuff like that, but they shouldn't say, oh, it's okay because I'm living this alternative lifestyle and everybody should do the same. So I think a lot of the people who are preaching, the people who are trying to keep the good word, and whether being Jewish or Christian, keep up the good work, because it's very, very important for us to go in the right direction, because the dark forces are definitely here and they are working overtime.
Totally.
Working overtime.
Totally agree with that. All right, Dr. Weber.
All righty.
Where can we go to find more about you and your work?
You can go to drwebercoaching.com.
Outstanding. And I know we do have that in the show notes, so that'll be available to everybody. They can click on that when it's available, when the show's uploaded, and to the audio. So Dr. Weber, again, thank you. Appreciate it, man. I really, really do appreciate the conversation. It was a lot of fun. And I'll send you the links and everything after the show, and then we'll set up something for January to have you come back.
Sounds great, man.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. Happy Thanksgiving, sir. All right. Take care now.
All right, Joe.
All right, folks. Dr. Don Weber. What a conversation. That did not. I didn't get to anything really that we had ready for him, but we just kind of took off with that. And I think that was fantastic. I really enjoyed the conversation. All right. Let's see. We have sitting here waiting for us right now. I'm not going to take the break. I don't have to go pee-pee. So we're gonna bring in Ruben Camarillo from the Now You Know Eagle Pass podcast. Ruben, what's going on, buddy?
What's going on, Joe? Hey, I'm glad to be here with my good friend, not Joe Roz. Joe. Joe. I was out at my good friend Danny.
So, Ruben, man, thanks again. I know we kind of touched up a little bit. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday. About just jumping on here. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to have like just a little bit of a what are you thankful for kind of segment to end the show, because tomorrow is Thanksgiving,
of course,
and I couldn't think of anybody else better to have on the show to talk about those things than my buddy over here.
I appreciate it, man.
So I'll let me start with this one, because I just want to say this. One of the things I'm really thankful for. There hasn't been much that Danny has done that made me thankful. I'm kidding. I'm just teasing. I know he's watching. But one of the things I am thankful for is that he actually introduced us together. I think that was a great connection, and I just want to tell you to your face that I appreciate what you're doing with your show. I think you're doing a spectacular job, and I'm really excited for what you're going to be doing for next year. So thank you very much, and for jumping on the show, man. Like short notice stuff, man. You rock, buddy.
Oh, thanks, Joe. No, I appreciate it. The pleasure's all mine, man. You know what? It's it's good together. It's good to get together and have these kinds of conversations, especially like as two podcasters. And yeah, I'm the same thing. I'm very thankful that Danny brought us together. I had no idea that you were out there. You had no idea I was out here, and look at that, boom. We got something going on, and I think this is a good thing for the community, to get ourselves out there, and because you got a really good show going on.
Thanks,
I absolutely love it, and I'm just touting it out. Letting people know about it. Great speaker, you know what I mean. Very thankful for that, man. So I've been a big fan for sure.
I got to say the same thing. I've been checking out your shows, and I got to tell you, man. I don't know. The next big thing on the horizon there for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's already. If we're talking about my candidacy for county judge, man, that's
yes. I was leading into that.
Yeah, that's it's been wild already, man. I haven't even started yet, and already the politics are out there.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah, big time. But you know what? I have lots of good friends and family, and I have a lot of good, a good support system. Inner circle is very small, but that's all you need is just that support to keep you going. We got a good team going on here, and we're going to bring a change to the county, man. We're going to try to lower taxes, get that escrow down, if we can. You know what I mean? And
got a lovely letter yesterday from my homeowners insurance. They're increasing my premium.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man, well
that's all right though, because today I went shopping around and I found a new insurance company, so they're actually saving me about, I think, almost $100.
Oh wow.
Off the current premium before the increase, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we got to. So you officially accepted the nomination here, and you're building your campaign.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be we have a good team going. And man, I got to tell you, it was nerve wracking. Like just putting my pen to that paper. One of the donors from Texas, it's called Project Red. What they do is they donate to register any Republicans to join in on the candidacy. Just to get more Republicans going, especially when you're in a Democratic stronghold. Even though it's not about red and blue, obviously that's what I want my campaign to be. But the story I want to get to is so I get nervous when someone's watching me write, and I don't know why, man. Like there's not a lot of things that can shake me up, but when someone's like watching me, and I'm just like, and then my hands start like getting tensed up, and like, man, you're causing me to write like a 4-year-old, man. Come on, man, give me a break. But yeah, it was a last minute kind of thing. They didn't have a Republican candidate. And my good friend Sandy, the Republican chair, had flagged me down while I was at the mall. We're just gonna go fix my son's phone. And then all of a sudden she's like, and for the media purpose, I was like, hey, where's your Republican candidates at? What's going on? And she's like, well, I have a few. And I said, well, where's the one for a county judge? And he said, oh, well, yeah, that didn't work out after all. And then there was just total silence. I'm looking at my wife, and my wife's shaking her head. And then she's like, well, why don't you run? I was just like, no, why did you ask me to do that?
That's why she was shaking her head. She's like, no, don't.
She's like, no, don't do it. Because she knew. And that's like I said before, that's something that I've always wanted to do. Everybody always asked me, why would you put yourself through this? I love politics. I grew up, when I was 18 years old, I took government, and we've had this conversation before. It was enlightening. And ever since then, I've been into politics, and now I have an opportunity to lead and to be able to make this county better, and to, think of the families in this county that have been living here longer than I have, and hope that I can be effective and do something for them.
Well, that's good. We're going to hold your feet to the fire, buddy.
Hey, go for it, man. It's already on the fire, man. It's already.
Right. Well, we'll keep you on the level.
Cool.
But for the folks that are watching that maybe not familiar with my show, I don't really dip into the local stuff. I leave that for him because he's the expert on that stuff. I like the broader spectrum. So it's great. Where's the echo coming from?
Oh, is there an echo?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Like it wasn't there a minute ago.
Uh-oh, hold on. Are we good now?
Let me see. It's coming on my end. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Yes. That was weird. I heard myself.
What's going on here? Are we being hacked?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, man. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. But
sorry. It's my it's probably why I probably need to turn my Bluetooth off. Like, actually, my son was actually messing with my Rodecaster earlier. He wants to podcast, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. He was in here. All my settings are jacked up, and that's the first thing. I'm like, hey, don't mess with the settings, and there we go. So
that happens. So what are the plans for Thanksgiving, buddy?
You know what? We did have Thanksgiving dinner just a little while ago. As you can see, I'm in my, I like to dress nice too on regular occasions, but we had Thanksgiving dinner. Yeah, we had an early Thanksgiving dinner early with the family, and I have to work tomorrow morning, so I'll be working the holiday, and sometimes you just gotta adjust,
Sure. I'll be working tomorrow too. I was telling our previous guest, Dr. Weber, that I have a little turkey for me and the kids, and my kids, the dogs. So I have a little turkey for me and the kids, and so I'll be, when we finish here in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna go run and start getting that thing ready because I have to work tomorrow too. So
okay.
So I don't have to do too much when I get back. So it'll be fun. Looking forward to it, actually. I did it last year, did the same thing, small little thing, and just for us. And it was a lot of fun, just me and the kids. And, afterwards we got to fight over the bones. And no, I'm kidding. Of course, rolling around the floor, the three of us fighting over the wishbones.
You ever go out of town for Thanksgiving or?
No, it's been a bit. The last time I went out was 2 years ago. I went to my sister's up in New York. And that was fun. That was a 36-hour road trip with me and the kids in the car and driving from Eagle Pass to New York and back. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I couldn't do it this year. It's just not that I didn't want to see my sister. I didn't, but the idea of actually getting in the car and driving for 36 hours didn't exactly appeal.
Yeah, no. That's
I've done it so many. I think I made the drive about 8 times, maybe 10 times, and back and forth. And so the idea of having to do it again just didn't resonate with me. And I can't take them on a plane, so they're too hyper to go on a plane. So yeah. Absolute death right there. So,
oh yeah.
just be us. We're gonna roll on the floor and fight over the turkey bones.
Hey, man, there's nothing like Thanksgiving when you're spending time with family, whether they're furry, or they're your family members.
Absolutely right. So what's on the horizon before I let you go so you enjoy the rest of your evening with your family? So what's on the horizon for Now You Know Eagle Pass? Are you still going to be able to do the show if you're in position as a county judge?
Most definitely not. But I will find someone else. I will find a successor. So I mean, we've been thinking about that for a while. My management team, my producer, Veronica, they all asked me, like, what are we going to do with the podcast? And, if you do win and you are elected, obviously, like, I can't be a county judge here and be on a podcast, but no, we'll definitely find a successor. We want to keep it going. And who knows, it's we have an entire year to think about it. So on top of that, on top of campaigning and on top of, getting things geared up, we'll find somebody.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything I can do to help you out with that, you just let me know, whatever.
Oh, you got it, man. Absolutely. And we definitely want to share, the Joe Ruse Show on the podcast channel, so we can get some more viewers in and get everybody enlightened on what you talk about and get the word out there,
Yeah, we need a little bit of a boost, but actually, we're doing all right. Actually,
you're doing great. I think the audio, the audio platform is gangbusters is what I'm seeing. So all the downloads and stuff, right? I mean,
oh yeah, I have. We're actually coming up on 20,000 downloads.
There you go, man. Sometimes podcasting is you appeal to the video audience, and then you appeal to the audio audience. So the audio audience has been here before the video audience. So
for sure, yeah,
you got that mystique
following on the audio.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, before I let you go, like, that's why I loved radio. I would never, when I was working with the radio station here, I really didn't want to be live on Facebook, because when I was a kid, you want to, it kind of takes that mystique away. You know what I mean? You want to kind of know what the voice looks like behind the mic, and you're just kind of imagining your mind is just wandering. So, that's the same thing for podcasting.
When reality sets in, you got old man and
yeah. Well, yeah, it's just it's like almost like when COVID happened, and then like everybody was wearing a mask, and like you're trying to figure out what their face looks like, and then when you take the mask off, it's totally different than what you thought it was. Yeah, it's pretty freaked out. So that's why, like, when COVID ended, and I would try to, like, I recognize you from your eyes, not your face, and that was just. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
The eyes and the voices. Yeah, that's about it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, yep, pretty much.
But it's what it is. I love the idea of doing radio, and this, when I first started doing this show, it was strictly intended just to be audio. Like, I wasn't really planning on doing video, but we ended up getting suckered into the video stuff, and here we are.
Yeah, it happens.
It's funny because I was actually talking with Angela today. About a couple of different things, like things about monetizing and charging, fees and booking fees and things like that. Whether do you need to have a video cast to be successful or audio, whichever. And there's like a divide. It's like a 50-50 divide that I've seen so far. You have some people that say, yes, you need to do this. You need to charge. I came across somebody that actually charges guests over $2,000 to be a guest on their podcast.
Oh, wow.
And then at the same time, and he'll tell you need to do that. That's how you generate revenue. And if your podcast is big enough that, you can attract someone that can do that, that's great, so on and so forth. But you need to charge, folks to do this, because then you're going to get the serious guests. You're going to get the people who are really invested in what they're teaching or preaching or publicizing or publishing, whatever it might be. And then you get the other people that say, no, you can't do that. Don't ever do that. That's inappropriate. That's wrong. You shouldn't do that. So what do you do?
It's definitely, but you have to make something. I mean, it's our passion to do podcasting and to interview people and give the audience a broad spectrum of what people's stories are. I mean, that's the art of it. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I mean, you have a business to run, you know what I mean? And I know damn well Joe Rogan's not doing his podcast for free. You know what I mean? So if you're good at something, never do it for free, I guess, but I on the other hand, just like you, we're starting out. We're not Joe Rogan yet. We're not, what's his name? Vaughn, what can't remember, the other podcaster that interviewed Donald Trump. I can't remember what his name was. He's a comedian.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about.
Theo Vaughn. There you go.
Theo,
I know he's not doing it free, but we're not as big as that yet. So that's why, I never really took a cent from any of my sponsors when I had them. Just money was there. I have a regular job, but it would be nice,
Sure, it'd be nice to offset some of the expenses that you have to pay. So we don't have to cover it out of pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Because StreamYard costs money. We all know that.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we dropped one. Well, I did it earlier too. I said bullshit. So
okay. Well,
that's all right. Let's see if Apple slaps the E on this episode because I used the word twice.
Okay.
All right, Ruben. I know you want to get back to your family, and I don't want to keep you too long. Thank you for jumping on here. The reason my motivation was to tell you to your face. Thank you for all the support and all the help you've been since we met, and love working with you. I'm looking forward to what we can do. See what kind of damage we can do down the road.
Absolutely. Like I said, this isn't the end. We're still gonna do the podcast. We're still, as I'm campaigning, and it's gonna be kind of weird because I can't promote myself on my podcast, but I can promote other candidates. Everybody is welcome on the podcast, and if they want to put their message out for this election cycle, it's great. I just can't talk about myself.
You can come on this podcast and talk about your campaign.
Perfect, man. That was my thoughts exactly. And again, I'm thankful for you too, Joe. Thank you so much for, I feel like you're kind of a mentor to me. So, I mean, it's great. Learning more on the horizon of podcasting, thanks to, hanging out with you and doing this kind of stuff. And it's been great, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much. Have a happy Thanksgiving. My best to your family. And I'll talk to you next week.
You got it, man. Take it easy, Joe.
God bless you. Have a great night.
God bless you too.
Ruben Camarillo from the Now You Know Eagle Pass podcast. Make sure you check him out on Facebook. You can check him out. Also, he's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those places. Check him out. Great stuff. And you're going to learn something. If you're really interested, especially if you're local, if you're really interested in local politics and the local scene, he really has his finger on the pulse of a lot of the stuff going on around town here. So if you really want to check it out and get more involved and get to know more about it, that's the place to do it. So check them out, the Now You Know Eagle Pass podcast, and you're gonna know a few things about Eagle Pass. So and some good, some not so good, but you're going to get a straight deal with Ruben and his crew. So make sure you check them out. All right, folks. I think let's move on here really quickly to Pro HVAC R Solutions. Pro HVAC R Solutions leverages over 30 years of expertise providing premier HVAC sales and repair services specializing in residential and commercial installations. Pro HVAC Solutions team of skilled technicians is dedicated to providing efficient heating, ventilation, and air conditioning solutions for your home or your business with a focus on quality workmanship, customer satisfaction. Pro HVAC R Solutions ensures your comfort all year round. Contact prohvacsolutions.com. That's prohvacsolutions.com today for reliable HVAC services tailored to your needs. All right. I think let's move on to some announcements here. Then we'll wrap this whole thing up so we can start cooking. All right. So, folks, don't forget to head over to the website, joeroos.com. And when you get over there, you're going to see a little pop-up that's going to come up on your screen there. Just sign up for the programming announcements email list. It's really helpful. We're not going to sell you anything. We're not going to sell your information. We're not going to, spam you. We're not going to do all that kind of stuff. All we're going to do is send you updates on upcoming shows, episodes, anything that has to do with programming for the show. All right, so head over to joeroos.com, sign up for the programming announcements email list. Look, it's free, which means it doesn't cost you anything, and it keeps you informed. It keeps you in the know. Very important. It's also the best way for us to keep in touch with everybody. Since you heard me say before, I suck at social media. So check it out. joeroos.com, sign up for the email list. All right, and listen, if you are a podcaster or you are somebody who's listening that like to be a guest on a podcast, check out podmatch.com. And if you do want to sign up, use my link, joinpodmatch.com/joeroos, and sign up for an account. All right. It's a pretty great service. I enjoy using it. great quality guests that you get through Podmatch. A lot of fun that you get through Podmatch as well. And like I said before, it's like Tinder for podcasters. So try it out. It's a lot of fun. Try it out. All right. So podmatch.com. And if you do join up, use joinpodmatch.com/Joe Ruse. Also want to tell you about our affiliate link with the Alex Jones Store, thealexjonesstore.com/Joe. Head over there to get some great quality supplements. Now, I take the Ultimate Irish Sea Moss. I take the turmeric. I take the Shilajit. I've taken, I'm still taking the Ultra Methylene Blue. Great products. You need to try these things out. They are fantastic. And if I wasn't taking them, if I wasn't trying them out, and I wasn't, having some good results with these products, I would not tell you to try them out. They are great. So you need to try them out. thealexjonesstore.com/Joe. And, you go over there right now, they're running a sale. You're getting buy one, get one free. So if you buy a $20 bottle of a supplement, and you get you choose a $40 bottle, you get one free. So try it out. You can't beat that. All right. Buy one, get one free. Try them out. thealexjonesstore.com/Joe. thealexjonesstore.com/Joe. Link will be, because I keep on forgetting to make a banner for it. The link will be in the show notes down below. All right. Also, don't forget to find us on our socials. I know I don't do great with the social medias, but we do have the accounts, so try them out. All right. Twix @Joe Ruse. Truth Social. If you want to know anything about this administration, what they're doing, the direction they're going, they usually post it up on Truth Social first before anywhere else. So truthsocial.com. Sign up there and look for me @Joe Ruse. Minds, don't forget Minds. Minds.com is @Joe Ruse there as well. Facebook is Facebook is Joe Ruse Show. Okay, Joe Ruse Show on Facebook. Instagram is not Joe Ruse. TikTok is, again, I don't know why any guy uses TikTok. Just saying. All right. Joe.Ruse. Getter. Back on Getter, so try them out. Joe Ruse there as well. Shout outs, of course, to all of our producers, executive producer Wayne Rankin, Rosanna Rankin, Carolina Jimenez, Marissa Lee, and Anonymous Angela. Thank you guys for all that you do. And just a quick update about Wayne. So Wayne had some surgery again, and he just had it on his shoulder now. So he is doing much better today. He's next day. This is the day after. So they did some work on his shoulder, needed to be done. He's recovering. The last update I got is that he's going to be out in a sling for a couple of weeks, about 6 weeks, and then we're going to get him back on the show very soon. So I hope you guys have been keeping him in your prayers and your thoughts, and just keep doing that for a speedy recovery. All right. So we're looking forward to Wayne coming back. Wayne, if you're watching, listening, God bless you, brother. We love you. Can't wait to have you back on the show for our Wednesdays with Wayne segment. All right. Now, if you want to help us out, you could easily sign up to be a producer of the show. All right. Now, you can do that by signing up for a recurring monthly donation of $17.76. That gets you an associate producer credit. Producer of the show is $18.36. And an executive producer is $25 or more per month. All right. Now, all the producers get the shout out on every show. They get included in all the show notes. And anything that we send out from the show all has your name on it, because through your donations of your time, your talent, your treasure, you are helping us produce the show. So you get that credit, and that's very well deserved. So thank you very much for all of that. Now, if you want to sign up for it, just head over to the support page and sign up. All right. I told you, monthly recurring donation, $17.76, $18.36, $25 or more. Get you those titles and credits. All right. If you want to help us out by donating, you can do a one-time donation in any amount. You can do a recurring donation in any amount. We appreciate those immensely. If you want to check out our cryptos, our wallet information is up there on the support page as well. So we're always happy to receive those. And of course, we have a number of folks that are streaming sats to us on our across the modern podcast apps. Now, sats are just micropayments of Bitcoin. You could easily hook up your crypto wallet to these modern podcast apps like Podhome or Podverse or Pocket Casts or Podcast Guru or Fountain.fm and all of those great apps. And you could just send us a boost during the course of the show. We love to get those. If you want to download, you can go to your app store. Or if you want to be rogue, you can go to modernpodcastapps.com or podcastindex.org. All right. And let's see. So no show tomorrow. I don't think we have a show Friday either. We're taking off for both days. But we will be back on Saturday with our resident crypto psychic, Marissa Lee, and talk about all the great things going on right now in the crypto world and the trends that are coming and her picks and her advice and counsel. So make sure you check it out Saturday. All right. And I think that should just about do it for us for tonight. So I'm just going to say, folks, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Don't forget to head over to the website, joeroos.com. Let us know what you're thinking. Drop a comment. And folks, don't forget, make Texas independent again. Go podcasting. Keep a steady stride. Keep talking. Happy Thanksgiving. Good night, folks.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Some trails are happy ones, others